One of my biggest struggles as a songwriter is being creative. For the longest time, it was an internal battle between being a creative and being creative. Sylvia Plath says the worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt. I didn't have any confidence in my craft. Until I realized you don't have to be a creative to be creative. So one of my biggest struggles as a songwriter was, first of all, just identifying as a creative. I would dabble a lot with songwriting, something I felt like I was called to do, but didn't know how, and didn't feel like I was creative enough to actually write a song. And so I didn't. So in the book of Genesis, talks about God creating humankind in his own image. And part of that image is a creative God. He had just created the entire world. And by creating man in his own image, that was something that I kind of explored. I dug into, I studied for a while to come to this understanding that because I'm created by God, I'm created to be creative. And so even if I wasn't, even if I struggled to write songs or to do something creative, I already came in with the identity of being creative because that's who God created me to be. And it was once I realized that I could just step into the creative process to actually write songs and to be creative. And it opened up this entire world of creativity to me, to just start from the place of, and the identity of creative versus trying to first be creative with my art, but to know that that was already my identity. So my music is about real life, the human experience, and the hope that we have in our Creator. And as humans, we struggle. We deal with real life issues, tragedies, struggles, heartaches, and joys and triumphs. My music is meant to invite the listener to do life with God. In John 10:10, Jesus says, "I've come to give you life and give it to you abundantly." And I believe that's not just the eternal life that we have in Him, but it's the life that we live right now. As I write songs that are about real life, that are acknowledging the real life struggles that we go through, but yet point back to the hope that we have in Jesus, that can give us a life that is abundant. Despite the tragedies and the trials, we can still find joy because we're doing life with God. Music has been a big part of my life since growing up. My mom played piano, my dad played drums. They taught me how to play music and had me singing in choirs. I've been a part of church music my whole life. And so it's always kind of been this calling. It's always been something that God has called me to do. But I probably wouldn't have said that 3 years ago, that God called me to music. It's just something I did. It's something I fell into, and that was just a part of my life. But 3 years ago, I really started to kind of wrestle with it and wrestle with what my purpose was and what God was calling me to in life. I thought maybe maybe I wasn't supposed to be playing music anymore, that I was supposed to be doing something else. But around that time, I felt like the Lord was urging me to write songs. It feels like I'm connecting with the heart of God in worship. I sense His presence, and so I can't deny that it's what God has called me to do. So I believe God has called everyone to be creative. Because He's a creative God, He created each one of us in His image to be creative. So whatever it is that you're led to do, whatever you're passionate about, whatever God is urging you and calling you to do, you can pursue that. You can pursue creativity with Him. And it may not be in the arts. It might be crunching numbers. It might be a stay-at-home mom, but you're honoring and glorifying God with your life, worshiping Him through the creativity that He has created in you. If you want to follow along my journey in music, writing songs, making music, I'd love for you to join me. You can find me on all the streaming platforms. I'm Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and just also on socials, on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. I'd love to connect with you.